welcome back to Fellow Fan. What are the objectives of today's ride? Let's hit them at the beginning. Number one, have I improved the view for you guys, as my camera moving to the chin of the helmet benefited the view? Because previously I was like just showing the tank and stuff, it wasn't really that good, was it? Anyway, so that's one thing. Just checking me fucking fuel's on. Yeah, she's alright, just felt a bit like it was going to die right there. Anyway, so I'm doing like, 60 mile an hour in 4th gear, so is that a good thing or shall I be at 5th? Who knows? Right, objective 1, have I moved the camera to a good location? Objective 2, have I sorted out my low revs fucking issue around 4,000 RPM? And objective number 3, make it to my destination, so that's not a guaranteed outcome. And that is the Elm Tree bike night. This is like the second one they've ever done, so I'm not expecting there to be that many bikes down there. However, you know, it's quite good. This is the third bike night I've done in a row. It's fucking mental, really. The first bike night I was supposed to go to was the Churchill Arms, and I wanted to take this bike down there, and yeah, it wouldn't start. So that's become a bit of a problem. Oh, hang on. So actually, I might be doing more than 62 mile an hour. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it? So this little speedo, you might be able to see it in the image, is a cycling speedo, like 15 quid off of eBay. You know, you can't really be expecting too much, can you? And I reckon it maxes out at 62 miles an hour because it's got 62 written there, and I've gone faster and then nothing's changed. So that's a thing for me to be aware of. Because like I said, obviously I've got no speedo on this, I've just got a rev counter, and yeah, I mean obviously I need to be aware of what speed I'm doing realistically. Anyway, so yeah, so let's go with the objectives. So one, like I said, I'm not going to find out about the camera angle until I get home. Low revs, I'm not going to find out until we get to some low rev situations. Obviously this is all quite high revs at the moment. Just changed up into 4th. I don't know if you heard it, but when I tried to get 5th earlier, just when I accelerated, it didn't. Just found a false neutral. It's a bit of a fucking nightmare. But I've probably never had it in 5th before this bike, because I've not been on dual carriageway type roads like this where you can actually open her up. Oh yeah, see now it's dropped to 58, so yeah, it must max out at 62. But in all fairness, like I said, if you're on a push bike, would you really be going more than 62 mile an hour? Probably not. I mean, downhill you might hit 40, I suppose, and just... I mean, obviously I do cycle quite a lot myself. Well, I used to, sorry, I've fucking given it up, hence the gut. But yeah, like, so I'm aware of how much these spike computers can be. Like, you probably spend a good 200 quid on a Garmin one, I don't know the exact prices. So this 15 quid, like I said, I mean, he must be from China, I didn't really think much of it. But like I said, it's actually pretty good. And there's only one issue of it, and that is that when you turn it on, it needs to find its satellite to reference from. And if you don't find that and start riding, it just never fucking displays a speed. I guess you're then making it impossible for it to locate onto a satellite, I guess. Objective 2, like I said, is the carb issue. So if like I say, if you listen to what I said a minute ago, I was trying to go to a bike night Tuesday night. The bike wouldn't. Well, actually, let's tell the full story. So it started first attempt. Didn't feel particularly great, but it did start. And then, probably only about 200 yards down the road, maybe, she just cut out. Just fucking died, man. Like, it wasn't going to do anything other than die. And I tried to re-bump her about maybe I tried to bump it over 10 times. I wouldn't say 20, that's a bit extreme, but yeah, well over 10 times. Use some hills. Obviously, of course, you've got to push the bike up the hill to get the hill. So that was a bit of a bastard. wouldn't go. It didn't even sound like it wanted to fire, that was the thing. And but when you're in those pressured situations, or if I need to get to a bike line, I've arranged to meet a mate up there. So anyway, ditched it, I couldn't get it to go, and took another bike. So anyway, when I came home, I thought, well, the first thing to do is check if it sparks. And obviously that's a little bit tricky because I've got no kickstart and stuff like that. But anyway, I thought, well, you know, I'll give it a go. I'll rest it on the head and rotate the rear wheel over in gear. And yeah, I mean, it sparked right. The plug was sparking, but it was a very yellowy, orangey, yellow spark, and it was a little bit on the dim side. And I thought, okay, well, I've bought some brand new plugs, the same as what's in the bike, which is the NGK B10 EG, which is meant to be this like racing plug thing. So I was like, you know, reading what it says about how, oh yeah, this can handle anything. Like this plug should be, because it's a racing plug, you should be able to handle, you know, all the abuse you can give it type thing. But like I said, obviously it's died. It's the original plug that came with the bike, so I don't know exactly what's been done to it, and I don't know why it died. That's a bit of a worry. Put the new fresh plug in, fresh, you know, like bright blue spark, and that's what I'm running on today. But I have decided to keep with me a spare plug and spanner this time, just in case. And so yeah, so we have an issue with plugs that is, when I've looked into this with other people, like I say, I've made a few connections through doing these videos, which is fantastic really. That's the whole point of it, isn't it? And the suggestion has been that I need new old stock KLGs, because of the fact that they can handle getting flooded a bit better. Obviously this carb's a big old bad boy GP, a Mal GP. And it's a 1.5 inch intake or a track, I believe, something like that, 1.5 inch. So yeah, so let me just navigate this roundabout. Down in second there, but obviously I'm now held up this van. I could rip it, but I can see the traffic and I don't really want to risk that. So anyway, so yeah, KLG, potentially new old stock. Been advised on an FE75. Not so sure about the 75 because I think that if we go on heat ratings, what's currently in it is a much hotter plug. But I think that the reason we're looking at potentially going for a warmer plug is because, well, there's concern, I think, that actually, you know, with this having a race plug in it for race conditions, I'm not giving it race conditions, so potentially it's going to not be able to get hot enough to burn off the nasties. So yeah, so there's that potential issue about the plugs. And then with the carb and the low down revs, so what I found out was that the top ring that holds the carb on was loose, and it wasn't horrific. It was probably about maybe even less than a quarter of a turn, but yeah, I just decided to tighten it by hand, and then I just gave it a little bit of a tap because I couldn't really get anything in there nice. I gave it a bit of a tap, it's probably a bit hard on it. Right, down into fourth I think I'm going into. It's amazing I'm not really getting to fifth on this ride, and I'm actually in the fast lane, do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I've marked either side of the top ring where the little spring clippy thing goes, just so that I know what position I've got it in tight in case it comes loose again. So I was figuring, well, if the top ring was loose, was it drawing in too much air? And I'd been gradually adjusting the mixer screw out, thinking, well, this is things too lean. And now I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute, obviously there's a danger there that obviously I've been making it richer because obviously it's been putting in extra air potentially through the top ring, the mixing body thing. So obviously I've leaned it slightly back off again on the mixer screw. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm pondering if actually my low rev issues are actually just based on the fact that I don't get this thing hot enough, and that's why I'm just sitting it in 4th gear here, because I'm thinking, well, I don't know what speed I'm doing, but let's say I'm doing 70, right, or 65, whatever, and this thing's probably meant to top out at 130 in 5th gear, and obviously I'm not in 5th, so I'm only in 4th. But like I said, that will hopefully keep the revs up slightly. I can see I'm around about 5,000 RPM, so that might get it a bit warmer, like I say, is what I'm hoping for, and avoid my spark plugs dying through what I suspect is not overheating, but just over fueling the thing. So when you get involved with the video, I know I sometimes mention this too late in the video, but when you get involved with the comments for me, give me some info on spark plugs and experiences that you guys are having in relation to plugs these days on classic bikes that are modern plugs, because I know people say about the NGKs being fakes, but I mean the ones I bought are from a website that, well, it seems to say that that's not the case, as in like they're well aware of fakes, and they sort of like they want to make sure they buy from the direct source. So yeah, to give us some info on plugs, whether you've gone for actually old school, new old stock plugs, whether that's a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, I was very dubious, because this bike's from 1962, and I'm thinking, if I'm going to buy a plug that's fucking 60 years old, you know, what's the chance that it's actually be still good? Just want to give it a bit off the throttle there, just to give it a bit of a breather, because I think I've been caning accelerating for whatever. Right, so that was that. Like I said, there's something going on with the carb. Low down revs, 4,500, well no, 4,000 RPM, whatever, is fucking up. And is that because of the mixture screw? Is it because of the jets and all that other stuff inside the carb? I know the carb looks in very good condition, so I'm not going to say it's worn out. That's not going to be on the menu. Plus, this thing was prepped for racing at Goodwood in the Lansdowne series for the rider that sadly lost his life at the Isle of Man just a few months really before this would have been raced. So it's all been done. Like I said, obviously the engine's been rebuilt and all that stuff. So hopefully the carb's in good condition. It's just what the jets are inside and stuff like that, I figure could be a potential problem. But yeah, like I said, give us some info on your plug experience, and also if you've got any theories on this low down revs issue that I'm finding I've got. And then yeah, we're going to see what it's going to be like at the bike night. When I get there, I'll try and hopefully unplug the helmet microphone, and I might have to stop the record and start again. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to show you a little bit of what's there. Now I'm going to arrive quite early. This one's between 5 and 8, and I know most people go to bike nights at 6, right? Let's see how she pulls. So I'm still in 4. Now I'm in 5th. Yeah, she's pulling alright, isn't she? Like I said, I don't know what speed I'm doing because the fucking speedo don't work. Just blindly giving her some revs. See what goes on. I reckon I'm doing 80 though. I can't see I'm doing less than 80 when I'm overtaking all these cars and I'm fucking giving her some. And it's obviously about 5,500 RPM in 5th gear, man. Like, can that really be less than 80? I don't know. Maybe it's 75. I'll pull back in here, I think. I don't know the speed I'm doing. That's something I'm going to have to look into. I might have to get a new push bike speedo jobber, because I'd like to see what this bike can do when it stretches its legs. Now it's funny, right, before I started this video I thought, you know what, I'm going to not talk on this video. I'm going to leave long pauses, like let's say a 10-minute pause, which I'm going to do when I hit this sign right now. But no, it didn't work like that, because obviously I got on the bike and I started talking, doing my normal thing, right? But let me try and pull out here into the fast lane. This guy's going so fucking slow. I'm only down at 4,000 RPM, that worries me a lot. To be in a top gear, trying to pull at speed at low revs, you know. I know this thing's quite torquey with a single cylinder. Right, now before I get there, because it won't be long, right, I'm going to be pulling off at the Powner Junction to go to what is Hightown for the Elm Tree, which is basically by Ringwood again, if you're wondering where the fuck I am. Yeah, so look, before I pull off and we get to the bike night, I want to know, because obviously I've said about, like, let's get some comments on the video about the spark plugs and all that other stuff. But what I want to know is, have any of you that watch this video ever seen a Matchless G50 in action, like racing? Because obviously I'm on the road, right, which I've had a load of like negative feedback about, which obviously fucks me off, but there you go. So yeah, but have any of you guys seen one of these used in anger, you know, in action, like properly racing? That would be interesting to me to know, because obviously I'm a little bit younger than most of the people interested in this bike. I'm not saying I'm that young, I've obviously aged a little bit now, but I mean I'm generally considered young in comparison to the classic bike enthusiasts that would know what the hell this bike is. So yeah, so I'm curious if anyone's seen one of these in action, and if they have, how do they ride? Not how do they ride, how do they appear? Because obviously you're probably watching them from the sideline, but in comparison to a Manx Norton, so if you've got like the Manx Norton in comparison to this bad boy, because obviously I picked this bike deliberately, I didn't really want the Manx Norton. I looked at it, don't get me wrong, it was on my wish list. It's an amazing machine. I think it's equally as beautiful, you know, they're both up there for me as really beautiful bikes. But yeah, I think with the Manx Norton, I think what I was thinking is they're a bit more known, or a bit more available, a bit more common, and I wanted the rarity factor of what this bike is, obviously. Very rare. Oh, fucking hell. I'm going to get up into first if I can. Open riser as well, so if that makes a bit of noise, but obviously it's really struggling for me to see in this helmet. I'm only in this helmet because I need to get a full face helmet on for I reckon that low down revs are still playing up, because that pull away was a bit sketchy. Yeah, like I said, sorry if the lid being open is going to cause you a bit of wind noise here, but yeah, I just can't see, man. Like, what it is obviously a full face helmet, you've got like the opening for the visual for the person to see out of, and because of the full face, it's like the back of the helmet is quite big and low down, and it's just hitting on my jacket, and I cannot, obviously with the riding position I'm in, cannot rotate my head back far enough to not be kind of like looking at the very edge of the helmet, you know what I'm saying? Now look, I'm going in here, alright, so that's cool. Obviously there ain't that many bikes here in all fairness, and I know that this is a bit of an issue, because if I put it at the back I'll get boxed in. If I put it at the front I haven't got a wall to put the bike against, but that's alright. Let's get it into first. There we go. Turn the fuel off. I'm going to push it forward until I get to compression. Well, that's pretty good, to be fair.